It's cup time. Tonight, live from Upton Park, it's the Capital One Cup tie. West Ham United versus Manchester United. And across the duration of tonight's game, we'll be going around all the grounds we can, bringing you live updates if we get them. And David Moyes here is putting up a cup caliber squad. Most of the first team is rested, with some big Premier League games coming up in mind. Of course, Manchester United already winning the Community Shield, so they do have silverware in the cabinet already. Andy Carroll for West Ham returning. Been a frequent missing fixture since his running with injury, but it's Manchester United with the real injury problems. Ryan Giggs is going to be out for 3 months. Rio Ferdinand is out for 3 weeks, and Chris Smalling is still recovering from his injury also. So David Moyes has a lot of shuffling to do. Rio Ferdinand, Ryan Giggs, Chris Smalling aren't exactly first team players, but it does limit Moyes' options for worst case scenarios. And even though they aren't star players, it is still worst case scenario in terms of replacements. So here's the United team for you. Michael Keane comes into play alongside Phil Jones in the centre of the defence. Cleverly keeps his spot from the other day. He's actually sided with Michael Carrick, who's not really featured in Manchester United's games at all. One thing we actually forgot to tell you is that Javier Hernandez has also had a shirt change. There was a lot of shirt changes going around when Leighton Baines had most recently signed a few weeks ago. Hernandez is now number 9, Baines is number 27, Ashley Young is number 14, I believe, and I think Makeda might have a change as well. But kit numbers aren't really that important, but it is nice that there's been a bit of a kit reshuffle in terms of numbers. But anyway, to the game at hand, and Manchester United kicked off, and Buntner actually puts it out of play particularly early. Stuart Downing for West Ham, that's an interesting choice for Sam Allardyce, bringing him in. Very interesting stuff happening there. Here is, I believe it's Joe Cole, yes. And we already have a goal from Hull City, the KT Stadium. It's Hull City 0, Birmingham City 1. So Birmingham City take the lead against the Premier League side. It's a great start for Birmingham. Up to Park, it's Manchester United on the ball with Adrian Januzaj, and get used to that name because I think we're going to be hearing a lot of it in the future. This kid is a real star in the making, Adrian Januzaj. He might have an awkward way of spelling his name and an awkward way of pronouncing it, but this kid is the real deal when it comes to the future of Manchester United, and rumours are going around that he's actually talking and extending his contract. West Ham goalkeeper Uzias Delaiden is a focus right now. West Ham actually have advantage in their favour, but they lose the ball. Michael Keane has been a common player in the United central defence over the last few games since the injury to Rio Ferdinand and Chris Smalling. But first choice centre-back Johnny Evans and Nemanja Vidic, of course, rested. As was Rooney and Van Persie as well. Henwood also rested. Other players rested right now at United, and even though West Ham are a Premier League side, David Moyes feels confident that this squad can pull through for him and make him move to the next round of the Capital One Cup. As Januzaj makes a cross, it's cleared away on the West Ham defender and falls to Andy Carroll. His first improvements in quite a while, Andy Carroll. Taylor actually chips it, and Andy Carroll actually comes up with it for West Ham. It's going to be a low cross. She's gathered up by Lindegaard for deflection. Here's Danny Welbeck with Januzaj in front of him. Januzaj to Buntner. And crosses it back into Welbeck and doesn't find the intended target. Nolan fighting against Michael Carrick. Well, Ryan Giggs suffering a torn calf muscle in the Manchester derby recently. It was a horrible injury to witness, considering that Ryan Giggs had, in that game, continued his outstanding record of scoring in every Premier League season since the beginning, and is now going to be out for 3 months. And Ryan Giggs, of course, sources telling us that Ryan Giggs has been thinking of retirement, and maybe his body is actually telling him that now, and a torn calf muscle that keeps him out for 3 months. He will not be playing on his 40th birthday, which would be a shame. But Ryan Giggs is, Mr. Manchester United, like through and through. He has been one of a few players that have been loyal to the one club. Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, Aaron Hillman's another one. The one-man club. And the one-club player, like we said earlier in the season, very hard to come by. Everton have scored against Ipswich at Goodison Park. So Everton take the lead there. It was Bondner for Manchester United here at Upton Park. The cross finds no one in particular. In Manchester United white anyway. And that's a bad touch, but he does recover it and passes to Lindegaard, who his kick goes out to Welbeck. On the side with Bondner in front of him. There's Michael Carrick, who's been missing in action for Manchester United very recently, with the surge of Kagawa partnering with Cleverley. Another score just came up there. We didn't really see what it was. You guys caught it on the broadcast there. Here is that's United gathering that one up there. Patrice Eva also missing today. And Patrice Eva's actually been in a rich range of form, but we need to risk the first team players in the cup competition. It normally happens, even with giants like Manchester United and Manchester City. Even they have to rest their top players for Premier League games. Premier League doesn't really... There is no priorities. Managers can set priorities, but you still need to do well somewhere else, and that's why Moyes' squad looks particularly strong. It's not his strongest, but it's just that Manchester United have the talent and the names to back up resting their probably original starting 11, as it were. And then there's to Cleverley. He gets dispossessed. There's a tussle going on. Hernandez picks it up. Hernandez will hit it. And Adrian actually picks it up. That's why Jeskalainen was on the tabloid earlier. He's actually, I think, injured or moved on. No Leighton Baines today. Deadline day starting for David Moyes. Leighton Baines is obviously rested as well. Patrice Eva coming out saying that he's actually been enjoying playing a right back, knowing that Baines has his position covered, so it's all good. All your players are on the same page. There's Danny Welbeck from Manchester United back in their area. Michael Carrick puts it up. And the cross almost fell to Hernandez. They're just bringing it down, and Hernandez turns and shoots. Adrian's equal to it. Kick it out. Now it's Kevin Nolan for West Ham. He's downing. And, that's going to end up with Alexander Bundner. Keen to Januzaj, who is just a bit too far for him. West Ham get the throw. Throw it right back in with Joe Cole. A bit ambitious, can you say? I think for Joe Cole, a bit ambitious there. Lindegaard not even troubled. Leeds United have taken the lead against Brentford. Elsewhere, it's a score that's just come in. Here's Januzaj again. Januzaj, beautiful move. Doesn't come off. Carrick is dispossessed by Joe Cole. And now West Ham have acres of space to run into. The night defenders were not set, but they got a chance to recover. And Michael Keane makes the tackle. There is no ball now for West Ham. West Ham seem to have a bit of the ball at the moment. Manchester United aren't really feeling threatened, although they could do right now. He's devilled with the cross, and it almost fell to someone's head there, and Here's Hernandez for Manchester United, who's got a lot to do by himself and couldn't handle it. West Ham come up with it again. Carroll. Here's Keane. Welbeck. He's intended for Januzaj, but rolled through to Cleverley instead. Now Januzaj has it. Now it's Michael Carrick who shoots. It'll force a corner. There's a corner for Manchester United. Michael Carrick, the captain, playing the captain's role tonight. And no, it's not a corner. Carrick actually scuffed the shot. It did look deflected, but no, Carrick has actually scuffed at the shot there. And as we continue, now look at Robin van Persie, another big absentee. David Moyes, like we said, has faith in this squad that they can do well, but it is elimination at this point. It's in the semi and quarterfinals semi-finals rather, where the legs come in. Here's Cleverley to Joe Cole and here's Nolan. Cleared away. And as far as Demel for West Ham. Joe Cole to Downing. Now Nolan. Good tackle, but it still ends up with Andy Carroll for West Ham. Still pushing through. Keane. Cleverley. Hernandez. And two players in front of him. One of them is Danny Welbeck, and Noble gets it off him. Wilfried Zaha is also starting on the right for Manchester United tonight. So Januzaj and Zaha, which could be the future of the club. Liverpool have doubled their lead against Bristol City at Anfield. The future of the club is definitely in the hands of Januzaj and Rooney and Van Persie and Zaha. It's all about the future now for Manchester United, which they've been working on all year and had some real good games featuring Manchester United so far as Zaha shoots. Manchester United, when you watch them, they've been in some stunning games this season. Absolutely stunning games. Which has been great TV to watch. And Zai to Andy Carroll is now in a race with Buntner and he loses unfortunately. And Zai trying to find Welbeck, giving it away. We're into added time at the end of the first half. It's been very, very even so far here at Upton Park. West Ham United holding their own against the younger Manchester United looking side, but still strong. But at the break, it's West Ham 0, Manchester United 0.